I look at these guys and say the closest comp is Trevion Henderson.
Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
I'm delightful, Jonathan. Thank you.
So the most tame I can give you, Tommy, is this.
Yeah?
It is Sean Connery asking Trebek. Sean Connery saying, hey, where did you get that coat? And Trebek says, well, Stearns, ask for Gary. And, of course, Sean Connery says, did you get it in a men's? Why didn't you get it in a men's? That's as tame as I can give you for that SNL skit.
I mean, there are some highlights to that skit that are just off the chart. It's one of the best. I think it's one of the best Saturday Night Live, things that they did over the course of the last couple of decades.
I watched one in my office yesterday.
Yeah.
And I just felt like putting it on for whatever reason. I popped in my head. It was the Chippendales with Patrick Swayze and Chris Farley.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's fantastic. Going back to the
Barney and what was Swayze's name? Adrian.
Yeah. Going back to the Jeopardy one, though, you had Daryl Hammond doing the role of Sean Connery, and remember you had the late Norm Macdonald was always Burt Reynolds.
Yes, just chewing the gum
with the giant hat.
Yes, just spewing out sound bites.
It's great.
It's so funny.
It was great.
So here you go, Tommy. We've been talking about the draft, and I found it interesting that Ian Cunningham and Ryan Poles said the draft could be wild.
Yeah.
And when I heard wild, I go, so that means for the Bears or for this first round, which makes me think maybe the Bears are looking for something down in the first round of the draft, up in the first round. He says it's wild, and I think it's one of two things. One, we don't know anything outside of the number one pick in Cam Ward. Or two, the Bears looking to maybe do some movement up or down in this draft.
I think it's the latter, to be honest with you. I don't think that they probably have a good feel for exactly where people are going to go because it's such a different draft. Like, there were some really good players, 1 through I don't know how many blue chip guys they have listed. There's some good players at the top, but you don't have the quarterbacks this year that you had last year. And I think it's probably made it less predictable. Thought it was interesting to listen to both guys talk yesterday, and you guys hit on this earlier. The takeaway, the news item to me that was relevant was Ryan Poles acknowledging that it's a possibility to move Darnell Wright from the right side to the left side. I never even put that. That wasn't even part of the calculus for me. So
I think that's a conversation. We'll see how everything goes. He clearly has the ability to play left and right. We saw that in college. That was part of the value in taking Darnell. So if he had to play left, I think he'd play left. And obviously, I think we're all excited about his stuff.
On the table, Cap.
Right.
Yeah, and guys,
I think that's because Braxton's not healthy. I'll be surprised if they move him.
That's fine, and that's a fair assessment of what he said. But if you've got a guy who is like you think is a rock solid person on that offensive line on that side, you don't move him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's been good the last couple of years, but has he been elite? No. I mean, he's been good, and he may continue to improve and eventually become a Pro Bowl caliber player. But if you've got a guy who's like, mini Penei Sewell, you don't move him in his third year. Do you know what I'm saying?
Shea was saying something about what you pay guys, maybe because of the contracts they moved to left. I just looked it up. 11 of the 21 highest paid tackles are right tackles in the National Football League. So I think if a guy's better suited at one position, salary shouldn't matter.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a salary issue so much for me is that
because you're going to have to extend this dude fairly soon.
Because they've had so many issues on the offensive line and they've addressed them from guard to guard, and I think they'll be really solid. But you got a young tackle who, you hope is ascending and you think is ascending. I was just a little surprised. I was happy that they said that. And I don't know how serious they are about it, but it opens up the door for different possibilities. Look, I'm no offensive line expert, but the kid from Missouri when I watched the tape, was the most impressive kid to me. But he's exclusively a right tackle. So Membu is not on your, not part of the plans if you've got a guy at right tackle that you're not willing to move. Because I'm with Tom. I mean, I defer to Thayer and Yurko on this front. And both of them are like, look, I don't want to use the 10th pick of the draft on a guy that is going to be asked to do something he hasn't done before. And as Ryan said, Darnell Wright played left tackle at Tennessee some. I think he had more success on the right side than the left side. But I just thought, guys, again, heading into tomorrow night, that was the most, for me, that was the most newsworthy bite that came out of yesterday.
Tommy, in terms of looking at the running back position, do you want a guy like Travion Henderson?
Yes.
Who he's got speed, he can catch the football, but he's an elite pass protecting running back. Elite, maybe the best in the draft at that particular skill set. That's what I want. Look, Ashton Jeanty's a great player.
Yep.
But I want line play at left tackle first and foremost. Where are you on the running back? What type you want?
I'm with you on that. I think Ashton Jeanty's a fantastic player. I think Hampton's a really good player. I would prefer, and again, I'm probably in the minority, I would prefer Henderson to Hampton just because when you watch, and the part you mentioned about his pass protection, that's willingness because he's not a big guy. He's
Correct.
the most, I think in terms of give me a comp for Jahmyr Gibbs, and we talk about Jahmyr Gibbs because, as Shea aptly said, and I don't think many people realize, they moved back for him. They didn't move up for him, which I think is something to think about in Detroit. But everyone wants to say, hey, Ben Johnson was able to work with a guy that did something like Jahmyr Gibbs. I look at these guys and say the closest comp is Travion Henderson. His willingness to protect in the passing game is really cool to watch, especially at his size. The reason why I think that like he's a little more interesting to me than Hampton, who's a really good player, is because when you watch them on tape, when they get to the secondary, Henderson just separates from guys because he's got that.
He's got that
upper gear,
88 out of the gate. Gone.
Yes, and in Hampton's, I'm not saying Hampton's slow, and I don't even know where their 40 times they match up. But I don't know how you guys feel. But comparatively, Hampton, I don't think has that other gear. Now, I think that Hampton's probably a much better runner between the tackles because he's a bigger, stronger guy. But I think in this system, I think that having Henderson available at 39 or 41 after you draft a left tackle at 10, if it's Banks, I think you're at that point you've got me tingling.
Tommy, I am still concerned about the Bears defense.
I agree.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Tommy. Tell me if I'm crazy. If the Bears didn't do anything else, did nothing in the draft offensively, doesn't Caleb Williams have enough to work with? We said this last year as well. It's even better this year because you have improvements on the offensive line. I want a lot of this to go toward the defensive line to get to the quarterback.
And he's got enough to work with to be better this year, especially with the head coach he's got, to be better this year than he was last year for sure. And the onus is on him as well. I think Shea's reference statistically to the Bears' lack of consistent pressure, and he's been on this for a long time now, I think it's one of the more eye-opening conversations. What is it, Shea, that they don't have a single player that registered in the
top 42, right?
Top 40, 45th was the highest. It was Montez Sweat in raw pressures, yeah.
Listen, like we all understand that they've got issues on their offensive line. They've addressed some of those. The issues on the defensive line exist. They have addressed those in some way. Adengbo, hopefully, is the best is yet to come. Grady Jarrett, I think, is a descending player, but a guy that in your locker room is going to be a good guy, could be a rotational piece. But I don't think Grady's coming in to sack 10 quarterbacks. Who is Montez Sweat? I loved your conversation, guys, yesterday about blue chips. I thought in 2023, Montez Sweat played like a blue chip player. In 2024, he did not.
Now, he was injured. He got that shin injury, and that was a big impediment. And you didn't have Andrew Billings push in the pocket when he tore his pec.
That is a really good point about Billings, but when you pay a guy $100 million, I'm not relying on the nose tackle to
make
help
plays.
Space. Yes.
Make plays.
Fair.
Yes. So I'm with you, Jonathan. I think that the defensive, you got to find some pass rushes. Guys, I'll answer your call me crazy with another call me crazy, and you guys would probably giggle at it. I'm still not off the Trey Hendrickson scent.
It's still there.
Well, let me and it's funny because I heard Yerk talk about this, and we had the conversation generically as well. can I convince you to call the Bengals tomorrow night and say, hey, we'll swap 10 for 17, and I'll give you the 72nd pick for Trey Hendrickson. So now I'm still picking at 17, and I'm giving up a third-round pick for Trey Hendrickson.
Fine.
Yeah, I have to know how that affects my cap to be able to do other things because he's a $30 million player. If you can make that work,
yes,
it's a discussion worth having.
Listen, Cap, they just signed Cam Jurgens to a 4-year, $70 million extension. Have you seen what the Eagles have on their books?
Well, Tommy, if it pays dividends right away, then I'm doing it.
Yeah.
At the age of 30.
Yes.
At 30.
17 and a half sacks a year the last 2 years on the other side of Montez Sweat. You think Montez Sweat's going to get better when Billings get healthy, with no disrespect to Billings? Put Hendrickson on the other side and see how much better Montez Sweat is. You could redo some of the contracts that you have, whether it's Sweat and DJ. You could find a way to generate some more cap space. Trust me, the good teams do it. It's one of the things that Ryan Poles has done best, in my opinion, is he has kept this team in
he's managed the books beautifully.
Yes. So I'm not predicting it, but these Bengals, like, they do things in a really funky, weird way. They haven't made any progress. That would still be on my radar if I was the folks up at Allison.
Also, you asked for the 40 times. Travion Henderson, 5'10", 202, ran a 4.43.
Yeah.
O'Marion Hampton is 6'2", 221, ran a 4.46.
Okay, I would say to that, and again, I thought the 40 times were close. What do you think Jerry Rice ran?
4.1?
No, he ran like a 4.6 something. But when you watch him play, there's a difference between lining up and running a 40 and then your game
Jerry
speed.
Rice at the combine, 4.71.
Yeah.
Like 4.71.
Yes. You put Jerry Rice film on. I mean, I can make an argument for you. We can argue all day long that Jerry Rice is the greatest football player of all time. We won't have that conversation, but you put on the tape of Jerry Rice and you would never think 4.71. The point I'm making is on film, Henderson plays faster than Hampton does for me.
And somebody else said they had a hand timer and they got Jerry at a 4.45.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like,
great.
On the field, guys, like, some guys play faster than their 40 times. Some guys play slower.
You played faster.
I didn't play faster, play quicker.
There you go. There's a difference, right?
Quick twitch muscle.
From 0 to 10, I could do fine. Once I got to like 12 yards, I was done.
That's good enough, though.
Yeah,
how many times do you think this guy did bench press 90 pounds? How many times reps do you think he did?
20.
He did 19, right?
Back in the day.
19.
Now I can't even get myself out of bed.
19 reps.
I did that like in
90.
the studio, like, what was it, 10 or 15 years ago?
I like the idea that you do this Waddle Wednesday in bed, since you say you don't get out of bed.
Everyone says the sounds like I'm in.
And by the way, Tommy, how about those Cubbies?
I was waiting for that. Look, I've told you, Cap, I like your team. Like, I like to bust your balls about it, but they're the most exciting thing in the league right
I'm dealing with a wife at home who says, text me. Think Sano can come back from the dead? Because that's the last legit third base we had other than 1 year of Chris Bryant, she said.
Yeah, well, you need to get a little something more out of your shortstop right now, but you guys know, but you guys are baseball guys. The baseball season is really long. When you catch heaters like this, you just run until the horse drops.
Yeah.
You just run with it.
I told this guy to my right, bottle that in September.
Yes.
It's cool in April, but if you have wins like as great as that was last night, do it in September. Do it in the postseason. I'd also say this to the Cub fan, that includes Sylvie. Don't allow the Dodger fan to take over your town. Did you see them marching?
1,000 of them down Clark Street.
Did you see that, Tommy?
Let's go, Dodgers.
Well, when you say, Jonathan, don't let them do it, are we talking about Sharks and Jets? Are we going to have a rumble?
Molotov cocktail.
Jesus.
And a trident. And a trident. Have a war out there. Don't let the Dodger fan take over the town.
He wanted riot police out there.
Wow. You know what? At the end of the day, it's about a game, and the outcome, guess who won?
Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
That was such an unbelievable
It's
comeback.
a fun watch, man, between Friday and yesterday. They just battle, man. And for Cubs fans who, and rightfully so, your bullpen is a case of concern for sure. But what did the Dodgers? Bullpens are hard to predict.
Dude, the guy that gave up the game-winning hit to Hap was making his Dodger debut.
I wanted to ask you guys this as well. The basket, because I saw Jesse's tweet last night. That's a home run in one of 30 parks.
Correct, but then there's days where the wind blows in, and that's the only park you can't get it out of.
No, but my question is why is the basket there?
Because back in the late 60s, you had fans that were jumping onto the field. That's why it was done.
Yeah, like Kap. Clowns like Kap jumping onto the field. Him and his buddies, his co-buddies. Him and Grobstein.
At this point, like, can't you remove the basket? Because, like, if you jump on the field now, you're going to the Who's Gap.
It's never going to happen.
Wow.
I sent it to you, Tommy, from John Boy Media, the Dodger fan taking over Wrigleyville.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. All right. As always, we appreciate the time.
I loved it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Tommy, it's a highlight of our week, kid.
That's not true, but keep telling me that.
Wow. You're an expert.
I sent you guys a clip, too, from Charlie.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Stop. Yeah.
So funny.
Let us know. Let us know. That's exactly right. Break that word down.